Hello everybody, my name is Zombie Gorilla, and originally I planned to make an in-depth video about this game covering each level in detail and basically rambling for 20 minutes. However, it was going to be an awful video, so I decided to completely redo it with a shorter script, and yeah. And long reviews are a fucking pain to edit too, so yeah. I know some of you may have enjoyed a longer video on this game, but honestly it was going to be an awful video, so I'm kind of glad that I scrapped it and went with this more shorter approach to it. Anyway, it's about time we start talking about the game already, because I assume that's why you're here, or at least, I hope that's why you're here, unless you're watching my every move online or something. You know who you are.
At this point, you'd expect me to give a brief history about how Insomniac made this game after losing the rights of Spyro to Universal after Spyro 3. Oh wait, I did just do that. Fuck. Honestly, if you're watching this video, you most likely know exactly what Ratchet & Clank is. After all, it's still going strong today with a remake of this game releasing only a few months ago, and holy shit, that game is fucking incredible. So you should know that this one is Ratchet, and this one is Clank. The main thing that makes Ratchet & Clank stand out compared to most other platformers is the inclusion of guns. I mean, look at this, it's a yellow cat looking thing holding a fucking rocket launcher. I think that's pretty cool. Yes, I know he's a Lombax. I was trying to make a point. When you first start playing the game, the guns aren't as prominent. You have a bomb glove and that's it. Hang on a second, why is my controller fucking leaking?
I've been meaning to replace this fucker for a while now. Who knows how much damage it's doing to my skin? I assume it's the battery leaking, so probably a fuck ton. Probably. Thank God that this controller works on the PS3. I also prefer this controller over the original PlayStation controller anyway. I know, don't hate me.
As you play through the game, you unlock loads of weapons such as a blaster, a flamethrower, and a fucking rhino. Oops, I did the glitch wrong. Even though the weapons do take center stage, there is platforming in this game. The platforming isn't really ever much of a challenge, except for one noticeable occasion. Seriously, I fucking hate this level. Honestly, I prefer the weapons over the platforming. That may just be because I'm an edgy 16-year-old who used to play Black Ops all day when I was 11, but I don't know. Ratchet & Clank stood out when compared to other games out at the time such as Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex and Jak and Daxter because it was a fucking cat holding a rocket launcher. Who didn't think that looked cool and original? Because it was both of those things. It stood out, which is why it was able to survive and fans weren't left to dig at a deep grave.
How dare you say Jak and Daxter is generic? I didn't say Jak and Daxter was generic, me. Calm down. You were implying it? No, I wasn't. Also, the reviewer playing a character that disagrees with them is one of the most overdone tropes on YouTube. So fuck off.
But despite being unique, does Ratchet & Clank still hold up today in terms of gameplay? Well, Ratchet's controls are okay. I feel like they're a little stiff at times.
But not as stiff as Clank's metal cock! Why the fuck did I write this? Seriously, I just told you to fuck off, so get the fuck out of here.
Turning Ratchet can be a little difficult. Trying to turn around fully to back away from an enemy feels very stiff, and I'm not sure if this is just a problem that comes with using a DualShock 4. The reason I bring this up is because I had the same stiff turning problems with both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 whilst using a DualShock 4, so don't get pissed off in the comments if you don't have this problem, okay? The one thing that has to be mentioned is how the weapons feel when using them, and honestly it varies quite a lot. The Blaster and Pyrocita probably control the best out of all of them. Some weapons like the Glove of Doom are quite annoying because you have to use the first person aim in order to use the weapon well, because the auto aim usually locks onto the wrong target, or doesn't lock on at all. The issue that comes with using the first person view is that you can't move whilst in first person, so there has to be some distance between you and the enemy in case they hit you, as you only have 4 hit points. I could moan about how you should be able to run and gun more, but it's clear that Insomniac didn't want the game to be extremely easy, because the new Ratchet & Clank games are a little too easy because you can basically just jump and shoot your way through everything. This game actually rewards patience at times. For example, on Altanis there are enemies that you're encouraged to not kill and instead sneak around. Rushing into every encounter usually gets you killed, you have to take your time. Which is why I don't particularly enjoy the bosses in this game. They encourage you to fight them head on, you can't really fight them from afar. Now obviously you don't want a boss to sit still while you shoot at it for 5 minutes because that would be boring. The main reason I dislike fighting enemies from up close is because of the lack of strafing. I just don't understand why Insomniac forgot to include proper strafing. It is possible to strafe later on in the game, but you can't jump when strafing, and it also makes you incredibly slow, which means it's completely useless. One thing that I don't think gets mentioned about this game enough is how great it looks graphically. The PS3 version of this game looks great. You can't really tell because I have a shitty capture card, but believe me, this game looks pretty. The environments are all unique and memorable too. Kerr 1 is my favourite. I think it's everyone's, to be honest. I love the sense of scale in this level. You feel like you're only exploring a small part of a huge world. This is the complete opposite of Pokataru, which is an entire island resort. I really love how all of the environments vary so drastically. I think this is most apparent with Veldin and Novalis. Veldin is a desert planet filled with small creatures and some robots, but then you jump to Novalis and holy fuck, it's a fucking invasion! There's ship shooting, robots attacking, and the plumber.
What? The plumber instantly makes any planet 100 times better.
In this game, Ratchet and Clank are so insignificant, and I think that's a really interesting approach to the story. For example, in Jak and Daxter, Samos and Kira are relying on you to save the day and help you two in places, but in Ratchet and Clank, it's just the two of them trying to save the galaxy without any help whatsoever, which is really fucking cool. I've neglected to really discuss the story in great detail in this video, because I suck at summarising plots without taking over half of the video to do so, but there is one thing I want to mention, and that's the relationship between Ratchet and Clank. You'd expect Ratchet and Clank to be friends because that's the name of the game, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, Crash Bandicoot 3 isn't called Crash and Cortex Warped, is it? No, it isn't. Anyway, Ratchet and Clank aren't friends at first because Ratchet has his head up his arse and is more interested in cool stuff like hoverboard racing instead of saving the world. Despite this, Ratchet and Clank do agree to stop Chairman Drek, who wants to destroy a bunch of planets to build his own one. Around halfway through the game, the two have an argument and end up hating each other, but they have to stay together because Clank is the only reason their ship can fly. So basically Clank is blackmailing Ratchet into saving the galaxy. He also makes small robots fight crab things because he's too scared to, even though the other robots will most likely die fighting, but don't worry guys, he wants to save the galaxy, so he's a good guy. Now, because there's like 200 sequels, Ratchet and Clank obviously become friends and stop Drek, so why exactly did I bring up the relationship? Because I like it, and most people hate it. It actually shows character development. Clank is the nice guy, even though he's a blackmailer and a fucking murderer, and Ratchet is the idiot that nobody likes because he thinks he's always right. You probably all know somebody like that.
I know I do. That person is me, by the way. I'm talking about myself. Oh.
After beating the game, it's really cool knowing that Ratchet and Clank were able to become friends and save the galaxy together, even though I already knew that because there's a sequel, and I've already played it.
So that was Ratchet and Clank. It's a good game and you're missing out if you haven't played it already. I don't know how to end this video. That's because you suck at making videos. Nobody asked for your opinion, me, and didn't I already tell you to fuck off? I'll be back for Ratchet and Clank 2. Ratchet and Clank 2, I never said I was reviewing that one. What else would you review? Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix? Anyway guys, well actually I'm talking to the camera. Anyway camera, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, you don't have hands or anything. You can't like or subscribe to the video. Well then. Okay.
All jokes aside guys, thanks for watching this video on Ratchet and Clank. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you couldn't tell, I tried to take a slightly different approach with this one, so let me know if you liked it or not. And as always, I will see you in the next one.